Hey, this is Angela Brooks, and I want to welcome you to this call that I think it will help you think about your business, your life, and the way you look at things just a little bit differently. Just want to warn you in advance, I have slides to keep me focused so that I don't go way off the edge when I'm talking about this. People don't realize how powerful our minds are, and I will try to stick to my slides so that I don't take up more time out of your day than needed. But I want to welcome you. If you don't know me, my name is Angela Brooks, and you can learn more about me from angelabrook.com. And I wanted to give this information to you so that you can change how you look at you, because you're magical. And most people don't look at themselves as a magical person or a magical being. They just think that they're stuck in the environment that they're in because, well, that's just where they're supposed to be. And that's not true. So I want you to know that you are magical and that you're not listening to my voice by accident. You didn't show up on this webinar just for something to do. You're not in this industry. Most people that listen to this are in network marketing or have a business of some kind. And you're not listening to this just by mistake. There is a message within inside of you that you need to share with other people, and I hope that I can help you pull that out. Nothing that I'm talking about today will replace taking action. A lot of people think that when they say the big gurus at the top of the charts, that they're going, oh, but they were born that way. Oh, they have an advantage, or they knew somebody that knew somebody. No, actually, they actually put things into actions, and they work their way to the top. The way that you succeed is that you don't quit. The hardest message to get across to anybody in this industry is don't quit, because that is where the action comes from. There's lots of things that you need to learn. There's skill sets that you've got to know, but getting your mind set and ready to receive that new information is number one, probably the number one thing that people leave out. They go straight into the action of how to build a business. They want to know how to find their next customer, their next leader in their company, but they forget to clean up their own mind, because everywhere you go, there you are. I know that was kind of deep, but it's the truth. You know, like I said, you're not listening to my voice by accident. You have a purpose. All those mistakes that you've made in your life, they're forming you to be the person that you need to be to get that message. Maybe if I would have lived a perfect lifestyle, I wouldn't have the message that I've got. If you don't know about me, I've worked 25 years in a psychiatric hospital, enjoyed my job. But I also knew when it was time to step out, because it was no longer for me and I was no longer serving my purpose there. Do I miss it? Sure I do. Would I go back? No, because I think I have a bigger mission to reach a larger group of people than just in that area. But what that did teach me is listening to the clients over the years, and the negativity that they spoke to themselves and the places that it took them. You are in your own mind 24/7. Nobody else is in there but you. So who are you listening to the most? You're listening to you. And trying to get somebody to understand that they've got to change their mindset in order to grow is sometimes difficult. You know, that was something we saw about our patients a lot was, you know, you would try to coach them and encourage them to think different, think better. Oh, you don't understand. You just don't understand. It's like, but I do, and I'm trying to help you. So understand that you are not going to get away from you. So you've got to change and develop your thinking. People want to think their way to the top and think that they can just sit behind a computer and go, okay, I'm going to meditate this thing and it's going to be awesome, and nothing happened. Well, it's because you didn't learn the skills that goes along with the new thinking. You can't run a business on old thinking. Action's what's going to get you to the next level that you're looking for. There's skills and different training that you have to do to grow. This is a growing business. It's not just a money business. Your thoughts become things. Mike Dooley said that, not me. This is something that the more you think about, the more it grows. And I really had to stop, and this kind of struck me because I was rocking on the front porch. I was looking out over our 17 acres field, had just been cut with fresh hay. And of course, it just looks gorgeous. The afternoon was cool for a change for summer, and you could actually sit out there without getting eat up by mosquitoes. And as I was looking out over the field, I had to stop and think for just a moment, wow, this is mine. This is mine and my husband's. This was a dream that I had years ago. And I used to speak this all the time, is when we were looking, well, actually before he and I were starting to look for a house, I used to say, I want to be able to sit on my front porch and look across an open field with no neighbors. And I want a driveway that when you drive down my driveway, you're coming to see me because there's nobody else back here. When you pull into my gravel, I know you're coming to see me, and you have to come all the way back here in order to turn around. That was something that I wanted, and that was a farm that we were looking for. And, I was sitting there and I was looking at this open hayfield, and I'm like, oh my gosh, here it is. It actually showed up. And when I really stop and think about your energy goes where your attention flows, and that is pure truth. Because I wanted to, as just growing up, you make some really crappy decisions. You hang around the wrong people. And, there's those people that you want to be popular with, and you're going, I want to be connected to that group of people. And you do things that get you into that circle or in that energy. And you find out once you get inside, maybe this is not where I need to be. So you start focusing on another place. And you'll find yourself in the middle of wherever it is that you are paying attention to. You're the creator of your own experience. So I don't want you to think that this crap just shows up and falls in your lap and you're going, where did that come from? Well, your mind is more powerful than your MacBook computer, more powerful than your iPhone. Anything that you can imagine, your brain is deeper than that. And where you concentrate, if you are that person who sits around and they go, I can't do this, I'm frustrated, I can't, this is hard, I'm struggling. If you use those kind of words, then your brain hears it and makes sure that those things occur, because that's what it knows to do, to listen to you as the director. That's not always good. And, when I was a nurse in my facility, I tried to use positive phrases as often as possible. And lots of times I had people tell me, oh my gosh, you're so weird, because you try to find something positive in every crappy situation. I had to, or it would drive me nuts. It didn't matter what patient came in, no matter what situation, I was trying to find a nugget somewhere that was a powerful positive. And sometimes you have to really look for those, but they're there. And those are the ones you reach for. People don't like to believe that the law of attraction is true. But if you'll stop and look at your life and be honest with yourself, you don't have to be honest with me, be honest with yourself, that how you think, the things that you say, and I'm not saying, don't you dare say that Angela said bad things happen because I thought it into my life. No. But what I am saying, when things occur, it is your job to find something, as hard as it is sometimes, to find the positive. Because you're the one, you're going to prove it to yourself, not me. That's not my job. That is yours. And the law of attraction brings people, brings experiences, brings things to you. There in my coaching with other mentors, I would focus on people that I wanted to work with, that I wanted to be in their circle. And sometimes their coaching fees were higher than I could afford. And I'm like, how's this going to happen? If they did videos, I watched every video. If they had SoundClouds, audios, podcast, I put their training in my mind any way that I could get it until I was eventually able to coach with those people. And, they may only have served me for 6 months or a year or, 1 season, but I got what I needed and was able to move on. And you'll do the same thing. You will outgrow whatever coach that you were with. People want to get started in something new and know all the answers up front. And you really don't need to know everything up front. You need to take action, need to put some things in place. Start with that head, it's on your shoulders. And everything that you learn, you apply. Most people will do a webinar, a training, they'll go to an event, and they leave money on the table simply because they've taken copious amounts of notes, and then they come home, throw that notebook on their desk, and they never touch it again. That is your moneymaker. Those are your blog posts that you can write. Those are things that you need to reread and maybe write it out in your journal or make you a checklist so that those things get done. If you're not taking action, then don't get mad because things don't change. And that is the honest truth. Normal people, what are normal people? Is there even such thing as normal people? After working in a psychiatric hospital, when somebody says normal, I'm like, what does normal exactly look like? Normally at a dinner table, those that still sit at dinner tables or hang around the water cooler in groups of people that you hang with, most of the time, what you hear in those conversations with groups of people is gossip, complaining, bitterness, and negativity. It is sometimes the most depressing thing to listen to when you're in a group of people, especially those that have hung out quite a bit together and they call themselves friends or acquaintances or whatever you want to call them. They generally lead to a conversation that's talking about somebody else or have a complaint, so they have an audience and they verbalize it. And I call it puking on people. When you chime in, you fit in to that group. If you start hearing them talk about the bitterness and the yuckiness and the negativity, as long as you stand there and listen to that, you are part of it. And if you chime in and you're part of it, then you're fitting in with that group. Sometimes I'm guilty. We're all guilty. It's hard to walk away and go to another group because maybe that's your best bud or, family member that you really think a lot of. Those are the moments that you pull strength from within and walk away to another topic. I don't hang in big groups of people because of this. My circle is very small. I would rather have a very small positive group than I had a great big depressing group. I don't want that around me. And, some people want to have tons and tons of friends, and I would rather have a handful of pennies than I had a handful of quarters. It's all the same. If you really start looking at the conversations, I'd rather have less than more. So what does those kind of conversations attract? More of what they're talking about, If you're finding that whiny, yucky conversation and you join in, you'll find more of that in the next circle that you go to. Surround yourself with positive people. They are out there. And as you start shifting the people you hang around, you will find that it's easier and more enjoyable around a positive group of people than the crying your beer kind of people. Promise you. Doesn't matter what money level they are. I don't care what money level you are. It's the same in every circle. The biggest change that you can do for that today is to stop telling the story of where you are right now and how or why that you got to this place. Some people they put their life on repeat and they absolutely will not stop talking about that thing that made them turn out the way they did or why they're standing in this mud puddle and not on dry land. Your mind believes what you tell it because you're inputting into that computer chip. Speak about what's coming. And when you first start doing that, it's going to feel weird. Granted, it'll feel weird to talk different, but I can promise you that as you start speaking into a more positive space, it will become easier. And like when I was teaching at the hospital, and I would have students that come in, and sometimes I'd have 2 or I'd have up to 20, and I'd have them for 10 days. And I would catch them as they would come in, and they would sit down, and somebody was like, "Oh, I'm so tired. I can't do this today." And I would get them to re-change their words. Is today I am a little bit more tired, but I'm excited about what's coming. I'm excited about what I'm going to learn today. Or I am going to be a positive person today. I'm going to influence somebody else's life. It sounds weird when you start doing that, but after you do it for a while and you start changing the negatives, don't say the I's and the ifs and if only I could. Those are negatives, and those are the things that your brain listens to. You're charging it it's like a battery. You're charging it up, and you're going to send it in that direction, and you want to make sure it's a positive direction. And your initial reaction as well, Angela, that's easy for you to say. I'm just in a really bad situation, and I can't say those positive things. You don't know what my life is like. Well, to be quite honest, you don't know what my life was like either. You only know what you see that I've presented to you. You don't know where I came from. And I'm not one of those people that says I had $2 left in the bank, or I had $7. My refrigerator was empty. My dog fell over dead, and I spilled my beer. I'm not one of those. I'm not going to be one of those. Your story, wherever you came from, can be used to inspire other people. It's not a stopping point. I was a high school dropout who got married at the age of 16, who moved to Europe to live for the next 2.5 years with a military soldier. I don't know about you, but if you ever tried to get a job at 16, they're not real high-class jobs, and they don't pay a whole lot of money. And I was like, okay, so I'm so broke I can't even see tomorrow. What am I going to do about it? So I signed up for classes, got my high school education finished, still tried to get a job, but by then I think I was 17, and you don't have a lot of jobs open for 17-year-olds that have any kind of income. And ended up working at a daycare center, which was fun because I was as big a kid as those that I was watching. And that's what got my attention, is like, okay, I've got to do something different. So when I moved back to Alabama, that's where I went to a nursing college. And not only did I surprise people that I made A's and B's in college, but I aced tests that my teacher told me that I would never pass. We had this thing that we clashed. Of course, I was quite sassy back then, not that I'm a whole lot different now, but she made sure that she told me before we took our final pharmaceutical test, "You'll never pass this. You have to make 100%. And I said, done. Not only did I make 100%, I got the bonus question. And when she handed me my paper, which she handed it back last and made me panic that I didn't pass, I had to say something sassy about that bonus question. And she just let me know that you'll never pass your board. She was a very negative individual. And I told her, I said, I'll pass my nursing boards to watch your teeth fall out because I'm going to pass. And I did. And I drove all the way back to Alabama to show her my license. That's how determined I was for this woman. But I used her negativity as a drive. It was just like hitting a nail into a piece of wood. It was going to happen, period. So you can use your excuses if you want to. Excuses will keep you exactly where you are. I'm a very driven person. When you tell me I cannot, I'm going to. And I was also told that I could not build my business online and that it would not work. But that's not the way my company was set up to work. Well, it has. Justifying where you are will keep you there. So understand you might be going through that valley right now. Know that there's people in worse situations than you are. You may be in a crappy situation with a shitty job, and you can go on to create magical things in your life. You have a meaning to do this. This is not something that just shows up out of the dark. You're not listening to this because you didn't have anything else to do today. You have a mission. Your crappy job that you're in right now is teaching what you no longer want to do. Being around those negative, abusive, verbally, physical, I hope you're not, but somebody's in that situation. Where you are is going to teach you what you don't want to be. My ex, I was very bitter at him for a long time, because he walked out on me with a 6 to 8 week old. I don't remember. He was tiny. I'd just gone back to work, so I guess he was about 8 weeks old. And he walked out and he said, I just don't want to be a dad. Oh, well, that's nice, because he's already here. And, you can't walk out on that. And for the long time, I whined about him leaving me because he chose to do something different. But what he did was taught me, this is not the kind of relationship that I want to be in. This is not the lifestyle that I want to be in. And my baby boy was going to have everything that I could possibly give him to push his future forward. And he's entering his 3rd year of college, doing amazing. And that was a vision that I had for him, and I made sure that happened, just with push, and you can too. Stories that you have in your head, change the story that you're sharing. If you have a negative story, find something good. And I'm very thankful that he walked away from me, because it was a push for me to change my lifestyle and the people that I allowed I allowed to be in my space. Stop yourself as soon as you hear yourself starting to tell that story, that same old negative, depressing story. And this is something that I had to do, because it's easy when you're sitting around the water cooler and people like to dog their exes, and it was easy for me to fall right in there, because I always had a crappy story that would go with that water cooler. And as soon as I heard a piece of that story starting to come out, I stopped myself, and I wouldn't allow myself to talk about it no more. And that's when I started healing. It was very painful to be a single mom, but I was a single mom till he was 4, and we did fine. He had food on his table. He had a roof over his head. He went to school. He did well, and we did okay. So I didn't need to use that negative story. I started using what we gained. I was able to leave and buy my own home. I bought a truck. I was still riding horses with a friend of mine. And, I found the positive. I didn't have the headache and the drama that he brought into my life. I found the positive. Study people who have came from crappy, bad situations to build a good life. They are out there. And network marketing, you will find a ton of those kind of people. And I'm not really sure what draws them, but you will hear so many success stories, like Tony Robbins. He had an unstable mother. The mother loved him. She didn't abuse him. She was unstable and just flighty in things that she did. Oprah came from poverty, for heaven's sakes, the worst of Mississippi poverty and abuse. Eric Worre, first 3 years in network marketing, he failed, completely failed. He rebuilt his organization 7 times from scratch. People look at where he's at now and they don't see where he came from. There's a starting point for every single person that's in network marketing that makes any amount of money. There's a starting point. But he didn't know how to build an organization and how to encourage them. And so they quit. And he would have to start over to get those leaders again. Lisa Grossman. You may not have heard of Lisa Grossman. She is a number one. She is a legend in network marketing. If you don't know about her, please Google her. She's awesome. I get to meet her in October, and I'm so excited about that. She served time in a prison camp, not prison itself. It was a camp. So she wasn't behind locked bars, but she was under somebody else's control for a year. a bad business deal somehow or another. It's a long story. You can find that story actually on Eric Worre's interviews that he does. Amazing woman. And she used her prison camp time she said she whined and, did the I'm so pitiful thing for about 3 months. And she said it was the most depressing 3 months she had ever had. And she started looking for the good and started teaching other people inside the camp things that she knew, because she was a big business person before she went into the camp. So she had knowledge that she shared with other people, other women that was in the camp, and used it to her advantage. That when she came out, she was a stronger psychologically than when she went in. So don't use your where I came from as an excuse to where you're going, because you have all kinds of experiences inside of you that you have traveled through that maybe they won't help me or the next person, but that third person you talk to, you were just the person they needed to get them over that hump. I talked to abused women, and I worked with the abused women and was on the committee for a year after I left my ex. And as an abused woman, and you work with others with small kids, and they see that you're still working and that you're functioning, and it gives them a lift that I know where you're at right now is okay. There's another place coming. But people get into such a mindset they can't see the future. So your experience can be that bridge that crosses them over. Transformation begins in your own mind. I don't care who you are. You also have to limit your association to negative situations. You know what they are when they make your gut feel all yuck and it feels like a dark cloud hanging on top of you. Those are situations that you need to shift away from. And I don't care who you are. There's no reason why you can continue to have negative people. You can limit the time. It might be your mother, your father, your brother, sister, or husband that's a negative ninny. Limit your time with those people. Honest to Pete, you don't have to give them a lot of your time. You allow who you want to in your space. Focus on expanding your association with positive people. It's going to take you a while, maybe, to surround yourself with greatness. And the little negative things will slowly start fading away because you will outgrow the people that you used to hang with. As much as I still love my old girlfriends, I can't spend a lot of time with them anymore. When we was running the bars and drinking and cutting up and acting crazy, they were fun because that's the mindset and the circle that I was in. And as that shifted for me and I no longer was participating in those activities, I can't even spend, more than an hour having dinner with them. That's enough for me. And I can't tell you honestly when the last time the three amigos had dinner together, because their conversation and mine is so completely different. You'll amaze yourself when you shift your focus and your people. You're going to create the life that you want to live, but don't get so attached to the new life that you are developing that you don't allow that new life to also change as it needs to. As your mind shifts and as your life grows, you are constantly going to be changing. When you get comfy and you're in that warm little box, it's time to stand up and stretch because you don't want to be in a comfortable place. When you're a little bit uncomfortable and things are just a little bit hard for you, that means you're growing. That's a stretching space. If what you're doing is comfortable and you don't have to think about it a whole lot, you might want to reorganize that process because it says you've gotten way too comfortable. Focus on what you want to build. If you've spent any time with me at all, I write things in a journal. It'll blow your mind. Write it down so that your mind can see it, because what you think and you write it with a pen into a book with paper. I don't care if it's a spiral $1.50 book from the dollar store. I don't care. Whatever you want to journal in, write it down, give it a date, give it a time. When I go back and I read my old journals and I think, that I haven't traveled very far and I go back and I read them, it blows me away. The things that I've got done, the check marks that I've got, the highlighted areas, the things that I've completed. So these are so powerful for you. Number one, you can write down your thoughts. And I know some people are going, oh, I don't want to write that down. Somebody will read my journal. You know, seriously, put it under the couch or something. Write in a journal. Quit making excuses. I'm not real good at patting people on the back for their good excuses that they pull up. Write this stuff down, and you will be so impressed with yourself in a year. You know, like there's a lot of people in network marketing companies, you're always trying to get to that next rank so that you can make more money. You want to grow your organization. You want to grow your reach. You want to grow your blog. You want to grow your knowledge on marketing. Focus on the rank that you want to grow into. Focus on the debt-free life that you want until you can almost taste it. And when you're writing this stuff, don't write negative. Write the positive. I will be debt-free by, and give it a date. Even if you don't completely accomplish that by that date, that's okay. Go to that, make a little journal note, say this is where I'm at. I've come this far. Make a new goal and say I want to be debt-free, and be realistic. If you can't pay off $100,000 in 6 months, don't write that, because your brain already knows that is not going to happen. You know, start with increments of things that you want to do, small increments. I want to write 2 blog posts a week. I want to increase my following on social media by 10 people a week. You know, do small things. Don't go in there and write things that are not reachable. Small increments is success. Success comes in small bundles, small steps. So get your journal, write this stuff down. Most people want to change everything right now. They want to do it, you know, as soon as they buy their kits, whatever it costs to get involved in their company. They want to get that kit in the mail, drop it on the kitchen table, pop it open, and money just fall out the box. Well, it doesn't work that way. I wish it did, because I'd order about 6 boxes. Stop giving your energy to what you do not want to happen. Stop noticing the wrong things in your relationship or the lack of a relationship. Focus on what you're grateful for. It is so easy to point our fingers at other people and go, I'm not where I want to be because you chew too loud. I am not where I want to be because you didn't send me flowers for my birthday. I'm just being crazy thinking of things. But stop noticing things in your relationship that are to the negative. Stop and look at that person and go, I couldn't do this without you because, or I'm grateful that you mow the yard for every week, or I'm grateful that you change the light bulbs when the kitchen light goes out. I'm grateful for those small things. And then you don't focus on that negative. As a business coach, people who get frustrated and angry with me will focus on what they did not get from me, when actually what they're frustrated at is what they didn't do that they were told about. Once you get the knowledge, once it's been passed down to you, it's like handing the torch over. I'm giving you the information. What you do with it is what you run with, or you don't run with. So stop comparing what other people are doing. Focus on the small steps that you are completing. Every small step, be grateful. Be grateful. You know, be grateful you're here at this moment. Be grateful because of things you've been through to get to this moment. These are the kind of things that shift our thinking, as being grateful for the small stuff. Honestly, most people don't spend a lot of time on being grateful. And, you know, we need to create phrases that you can say often. And what I say, mine is thank you. I appreciate you very much when I'm talking to people. If somebody hands me, UPS man, when he hands me a box, he drives it down my long gravel driveway that I've, envisioned years ago to have. He drives down that driveway into our circle drive. I walk out the sidewalk. He hands me my box, whatever. Lots of Amazon little boxes come to our house. He hands that to me, and I say, thank you. I appreciate you. And, that's something most people don't hear a lot. It says thank you. And they really don't hear, I appreciate you. But that's something that I say anytime somebody does things for me. I appreciate them. I truly do. I'm not just saying it to be a phrase. I do appreciate that I can sit at my laptop, place an order on Amazon, and this man's going to drive it down my driveway. I never have to leave the house. I'm very grateful for that. And what you say, your words matter. When you're speaking to people, before you make a call, before you do anything, check your own attitude. Your attitude reeks before you ever say a word. People feel the energy off of you. They can tell if you're agitated, if you don't have confidence. Confidence is 90% of this business. 90% of business is your own self-confidence. Before you make a call to a lead, check your energy. Most of the time when I do calls, I'm standing up because I find myself slouching in my chair. That means you're not breathing as deep. And you smile. When somebody answers the phone, if you are smiling, you automatically speak differently. Automatically. And it changes the conversation. Say, hey, Kimmy, this is Angela. How are you today? I'm good. Awesome. Hey, I'm just following up with you because you hit my website this week. Just wanted to take 5 minutes and see how I can help you. Yeah, I remember when I went on that website. This is what I was looking for. Truly changes the conversation. When you have a new person that joins your team, they've signed up, they've bought your stuff, whatever it is. The next thing when you make that phone conversation, hey, this is Angela Brooks. Kimmy, I just wanted to welcome you to the team. It changes things. Welcome to my team, to the team, not mine. I don't like to talk about me, I, and it's welcome to the team. It's powerful. Smile when you're talking to people, especially to somebody you just met. It changes things. When I am at Walmart and I'm in line getting my groceries, my toilet paper, whatever it is, and you're exchanging, your debit card, sometimes the people working at the cash register have been damaged all day by negative people and their energy is just flat. Smile at them and say, hey, how are you today? I really appreciate you zipping that stuff. I couldn't do this all day longer. Just start some kind of random conversation with a smile. Watch the energy shift. When they give me the receipt and I'm getting ready to walk off, usually most people that are working in a store have their name badge. I call them by name, smile at them, and tell them thank you. Your name is the most powerful thing that you will hear in the English language, whatever language you speak. Hearing your name is something that people will always look up when you say their name. Thank you is not something that people hear a lot anymore. Try it. I double dog dare you. Once you've completed this webinar, I need you to do this. Grab your journal. Write down 100 things that you're grateful for. I know you just rolled your eyes at me. I could see it. I could see it. You just rolled your eyes. 100 things that you're grateful for. If you have a hard time writing down 100 things, and you have a hard time accomplishing this simple task, this will indicate how far you've been living in gratitude. Yeah, that's scary. I don't care how small it is. I am grateful for this warm cup of coffee sitting beside me. I am grateful for this Ink Joy pen that I have in my hand because it writes so smooth. I'm talking grateful for Post-it notes. I so love Post-it notes, and I like them when they're hot pink and green. I'm so grateful for those colors. Only a very few people who are watching this webinar will actually do this exercise. And when you are giving this exercise to your team, and the ones who actually do this, and you say, post it when you're done, or, start a feed that says when you're done, say done, I'm grateful, I'm done, whatever. Those are the ones that you spend time working with, because they are They are spending their energy into getting better, into growing, and to the mindset. So my assignment for you is, if you're not following me on Facebook, on Angela Brooks Biz, do that right now. Like that page. Well, not right this minute, but when we get done with this. And I want you to write this down. Do 100 things you're grateful for. When you're done, come to my Facebook page and tell me, I'm grateful I did it. A double dog dare you. Come on, do it. Your mindset, if you're serious about your business, you're going to do this simple exercise, and that's all there is to it. Some people will not do this because they feel like it's stupid, and the ones who do are the ones you want to spend your energy with, because they didn't care if they look stupid. You will succeed when you stop caring what other people think about your education forward. As long as you are growing yourself, somebody's going to have a snarky little opinion, and their opinion doesn't pay a bill. If you can't take their opinion and go to the electric plant board and pay that, then it has no value. Keep shifting. Gratitude will change how you look at your life. Before you get up in the morning, when you sit up on the side of the bed, I am grateful that I woke up this morning. I'm grateful that I had another breath of air in me. I'm grateful for my cup of coffee. I'm grateful for my back porch that I can sit on and enjoy that open field in front of my house. I'm grateful that you're here today, that you're listening to my voice and you're still with me. What you think matters. Your business will begin to change when you change how you think. I'm telling you, if you will just believe me, your business is going to change. You are going to change. You will, in a year, you're going to be able to look back at that journal and be blown away, because you can't build a new life with old thinking. That old thinking didn't get you into a healthy, growing business. It's time to shift. And when I say it's time to shift, then we've got to start adding new thoughts to our head. We've got to start talking differently. Set your intentions for what it is that you want. Start looking into the future. Write it down, what it is that you want. It may not show up exactly like you have written, but you've got to give your brain and your actions a direction. It's just like if you got in a car to go on a trip and you have a GPS, the GPS can't take you anywhere until you program the address. Your life can't go anywhere until you program a direction. You may get there and you grow into a new direction, which is fine. You got to put in a program. You got to put in an address. You will not know everything you need to know up front in your business. Get started anyway. Just do it. Is it hard? Yes. Is it going to be frustrating? Yes. Are you going to get upset? I hope so, because that says that you're growing. Don't look at what you think. Don't look at what you think you know. Look at your results. Hearing things and putting them into action is two different things. If you want to know how far your growth has come, just stop and observe what you've got in front of you. You know what you've put in place for your business. Honestly, you can't judge other people's results either, so don't do that, because you don't know how hard they've worked or where they've came from to put those things in place. If you're just getting started, keep that head down, keep focused, and keep going. Life happens, and it's your choice how you react to it. I could have stayed in that whiny state of an abused person who had a new infant to raise by myself, and I could have looked at every degree of that and whined, but I refused. All I wanted was to have a good life for him, and he was my focus and he was my push, and that happened. It happened. Most obstacles that we reach are mental. You may say, no, mine are real. You don't get this. You don't get it. Mine are true things that are wrong. But they're still your attitude. And your attitude towards those mental obstacles is what will either stall you out and stop you, or it's going to propel you forward. So pick one. I say go forward. And if you've heard the phrase that a car windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror for a purpose, because there's nothing back there that you can change. You don't even need to really turn around and look, because you'll have a wreck. If you're driving forward and you start looking backwards, you're going to wreck. Don't look back there. Learn to flip the script. People are often comfortable where they're miserable, and you're no longer miserable because you are taking a step forward today. When somebody tells you no, tell them thank you. It's okay. It's not always bad that somebody says no. It could mean yes later. Maybe they're not ready for you. Maybe they're not ready for your opportunity or your connection, or they could have had a bad day at work, or they could refer you to somebody that's even better than them. Just be mindful that no is not bad. I don't like the word no. I'll admit I don't like it. But it's also where you gain energy and power from to keep going. Be like that waitress who goes around and asks at a restaurant, would you like more coffee? Would y'all like dessert? And when you say no, she doesn't get upset and all attached to it. She just goes to the next table. Would y'all like coffee? Would you like dessert? If you said yes, she says, great. She goes and gets what it is that you need. She still goes to the next table and asks the same question. Don't get attached to things that say no to you right now. You can even ask them to refer you to somebody. For heaven's sakes, referrals are beautiful, but it's how you act to that no dictates more results of the same thing. So if somebody tells you no and you drop in the floor and throw a kick and fit like a toddler, you're going to get more no's until you learn to accept them. There's more inside of you. There's a higher you. I'm not going to get all woo-woo spiritual on you here, but we are spiritual beings. We are a higher self. We are a spiritual being. And there is an intuition inside of you that guides you if you'll listen to it. That little gut feeling when you were getting ready to do something as a kid that says you're going to get in trouble, you're going to get in trouble, but you do it anyway. And then you go, why am I in trouble? Well, your intuition was already telling you to back up. Don't do that. Don't drink and drive. Don't, hang with that girl, that boy, that whatever. Your intuition spoke to you. You just ignored it. And we push that little voice down so long that it gets quiet after a while. If we will tune into that, things get really simple. Go away from the things that make you feel bad. Go towards the things that make you feel good. I've had projects that I was working on, and I couldn't. Nothing would come out. And I would tell my media team, they're like, how many pages you got done? What are you working on? And I'm like, I cannot do this at this moment. I have to do something different. I've got to work on something else. And then I could come back to that. Well, I worked on a project for a while. Nothing would flow. This was while I was working on my book, The MLM Blueprint Secrets. There was some days I just couldn't get anything to come out on the paper. And then we shifted how we were doing the information. And I was up till midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was just pouring out. Do things that are making you feel good, that it makes you feel yucky or you're stalling. Is your intuition telling you, not right now, not right now. Your emotions will be your guide. I promise you, if you'll listen to them. Building freedom in your life is more important than the money that you're going to make. Yes, we're all in this industry to make money. You go to a job to make money. But what most people come to network marketing to do is for time freedom. That's the one thing you cannot buy, nor can anyone give it to you. This is where you get to create that life that you love and you really, really want. And if you haven't journaled what kind of life that you want, then you're just kind of like walking around in the fog. You really don't have any idea. What is it you want to do every day? How do you want to get up? Sit down and write down 8 o'clock till noon. Do you want to sleep till 8 o'clock every day? Do you want to stay up to midnight every day? Write it down so that you have a map, a GPS map of what you want your life to look like. And something that was very important for me is to not miss my kids' sporting events. If my son called me from college and says, Mom, I pitch tomorrow, can you come? I make some changes in my work schedule and I'm on the road the next morning. If my little guy who's playing soccer calls and says, hey, Mom, we got a game, we got a makeup game tomorrow, no big deal. I don't want to miss those. I no longer want to miss that. That's very important to me. Again, you hear me talking about that journal. If you're only focused on money, which is something that's outside of you, money is just an exchange for something that you need, then that is not a problem. That's just, it's something that we use. It's a tool. Money is a tool in exchange for value that we're looking for. When you believe in your value and you will make more money, you're valuable. You have so much to offer that you're not even giving yourself credit for. You might be that homeschooling mom. You might be that school teacher that loves to have those tough kids, or those teaching those kids that can't read forward how to read simple words and just watching their face light up. Maybe you're that mom of 6 that you even function during the day. I don't even know how they do it. I'm so admiring of women who can run a household, 6 kids, build a business, and cook supper. Hello, she's like superhero to me. Find a concern that brings you alive, that you want to solve, and you want to focus on helping people with that issue. You'll become so valuable, people will pay you for that information, which will make you more money. But you've got to find out what makes you come alive. You know, somebody can ask me about social media and I will start rambling. I hear myself and I have to apologize, going, I'm sorry, you really hit my niche right there. But that's something that I enjoy talking about. And I like teaching people little simple things that will get them results. It's fun to me. So it's not work. It is solving somebody else's problem. And so I like to focus on other people, which brings money my way. And it will yours too. Money is an exchange. It has no feelings. Money's not bad. Change how you think about money. You know, say to yourself, I'm a money magnet. And most people cannot look in the mirror and say that because of the stigma that they have in their head about money. They want to give everything to people for free. They want to work really hard writing a book and give it to somebody for nothing. People do not value things that they didn't pay for. They will throw it over in a corner. They'll file it in a cabinet. They'll never look at it. But you get them to exchange money. I don't care how cheap it is. When they exchange money, it shifts their brain, the mindset that they paid for this and they want to get their money's worth. So stop giving everybody everything just because you love your product. Stop making all these sample things and giving it people because they're going to take it. It doesn't mean they're going to buy it from you. They have no value. There's no value to them because they didn't invest anything into it. Another way you can change the way you look at your money is paying your bills. I hear people gripe about their bills a lot, or they say, I can't afford it. Or, you know, I look at my bills as I'm donating for a service that was rendered. I'm grateful that I have lights. I don't care if you have one light bulb hanging in the middle of the barn and that's your house. Be grateful that you have a roof over your head, walls that surround you for safety. And if you are sleeping on a bale of hay for your bed, be grateful that you have something to sleep on. People gripe about their bills, and none of us want to pay $100 for water bill, electric bill, whatever it is. But just remember that you are donating for services rendered, that you are grateful that you have water, that you can go to the sink, turn on water, and it runs, that you can flip a switch and the lights come on, that you can sit in front of a computer and listen to my voice and learn something new. Be grateful that you have things, and you become a money magnet because you appreciate the things that it brings to you. Money brings things to you. It doesn't push it off. You cannot be a nonprofit without money because every nonprofit has to have money to run. So when people say, I just want to run a nonprofit, no problem. You got to earn money to make it happen. If you're not earning money, that nonprofit isn't helping a soul. And most nonprofits have a mission. They have a mission statement of who they are wanting to serve. And when you have a talent, a need, a value message that you do not put out into the universe for other people to consume, you are being selfish. Yes, I said it. You're being selfish. Being selfish because you have the answer to solve somebody else's problem that you are not exchanging money for to give them the value that you have. Stop being selfish. Stop looking at money like it's evil. It is what people will exchange for what you have. Be grateful that you can help people with that. Stop talking about negative things about the rich people. There's just as many negative and ugly rich people as there are poor people. Poor people, just because they ain't got no money, don't make them nice. Most of the time, poor people, or those that have a lack of funds in their checking account at the time, are usually pretty pissed off people because they don't have enough to stretch. So teach those people how to fill those accounts so that they can not necessarily become a nice person, but it'll be less stress. I know that when my money was tight and I had an extra $20 a month as a single mom to spend a month, literally, 20 a month, 20 a week to spend after all bills, groceries, and everything was paid for. I had to remind myself that I'm okay. I have a roof. I have a truck. I have a healthy child. I have things that I need. So money's not what's making people bad. Your poverty doesn't serve anybody. The more you learn, the more you make, the more people that you can help. The more educated you become, the more that you can learn and teach it to other people. If you associate negativity with wealthy people, then you're preventing yourself from becoming one. And I want you to be wealthy because wealthy people are able to assist people to come out of bad places. It's true. Start being who you want to be now. Start changing your talk, your words. Your why will never be strong enough to push you to success. Your action will push you there. Your skills will increase. That will push you there. But just saying, oh, I know what my why is, well, that's nice. That's great. But that will also shift in time. Today is the perfect time for you to be the person that you want to be. You only have one time. You only go through this life once. And the longer that you wait, the longer it's going to take you to get there. And you're being selfish because you don't learn. Get out of that noggin that you are, I just want to serve other people. But you also have to make money so that you can serve them. Okay, now that you know this information, don't go back to default, which is your comfort zone. That little comfy box with a pillow and the blanket you can pull up over your head. You can't do that anymore. I'm sorry you moved out of that zone when you took this webinar, because now that you've got this information, your thinking is going to shift because you have new information inside. Change how your mind thinks and processes information and situations. You, my friend, are amazing. You're amazing. You can do this. I promise you. You can do this. I believe in you. I believe in you. Change is scary. Change is good. Change is scary, but change is so good. You is kind. You is smart. You is important. That is my favorite quote from the movie The Help. If you haven't seen that movie and you want to be uplifted by people who join together to make a bad situation a good situation, watch that movie. Powerful, powerful. Here's your assignment. You ready? Get your pen and paper out. I want you to write this down because I need you to do this for you. You're not doing it for me. You're getting ready to grow. You're going to stretch. And you need to do these things. Money's not evil. Write that on your notes. Money is not evil. Good will happen when you recognize it. Be grateful and recognize things that happen that are good. Change the words that you say. The words that come out of your mouth, you're speaking to you. Have I told you how amazing you are and how proud I am that I'm able to coach you at this moment? How proud you should be that you're here today. I want to thank you. It's been my pleasure to help you, and I want to leave you with gratitude to you to become a world changer. Thank you.